Hey, welcome to from YouTube. Welcome back to video with Rams fan YT. And in today's video, we're back with another live watch along. Today, we're about 5 minutes away from kickoff between Newcastle United and Fulham at St James's Park in the EFL Cup Quarter-Finals. We're not got long to go till kickoff, so we'll go straight into the lineups for both teams. Newcastle operating in a 4-3-3 with Aaron Ramsdale in goal, a back four of Tino Livramento, Fior Shah, who's coming on for Dan Burn, I suppose, who took on up a knock in the Tyne-and-Wear derby at the weekend, and Jacob Murphy. A midfield three of Ramsey, Bruno Guimaraes being the captain in the centre, and Miley, and a forward three of Willock, Wissa, and Harvey Barnes. Fulham operating a 4-2-3-1 today. They're having the goalkeeper of Lecomte in goal, the back four of Tete, Joaquim Anderson, Cuenca, and Anthony Robinson, rather. A defensive midfield duo, Sander Berge and Lukic. An attacking midfield three of Harry Wilson, Kevin on the wings with Emil Smith-Rowe supporting behind Raul Jimenez. So fairly decent lineups in this one. Do let me know how you think this is going to go. I suspect it will go Newcastle favour 2-1. But yeah, we've not got long to go at this moment in time. Probably, about a minute left, I would suspect. Also, they've got the final ads before the kickoff. We're watching live on ITV. Yeah, Carabao Cup holders Newcastle will definitely be looking to get through this one. Fulham arguably coming to cause an upset in all likelihoods, but will they be able to? It's an interesting question. Yeah, I mean, Newcastle haven't looked as good this season as they were last season, and may need the Carabao Cup to get them into Europe this season, to get into the EFL Cup. Oh, plenty of season left to go, mind you. Fulham won't be involved in a relegation battle per se, but they're on the lower half of the table at the moment, not on a spectacular run of form. Newcastle's run of form sort of came to an end in that Tyne-and-Wear derby, which was narrowly lost 1-0, but they didn't seem up for it at all. It's quite odd. So yeah, St James's Park, full and lively as ever, completely packed out, as you would expect. The Geordies always pack out this stadium, no matter what the occasion. Wonder how Eddie Howe will fare in this one. Probably, I think, a lot to learn from the weekend. They've got some big hitters on the bench as well. I can see Tonali on the bench as one of them, and Anthony Gordon. So certainly some firepower to bring off if needed. Yeah, we are about to get off. Some reason Fulham's got an interesting logo. It's an impression on this game, isn't he? He's coming into this team as quite a young, inexperienced player. Whereas I think, relatively speaking, Lecomte is probably the one who you'd expect to be wanting to prove something. As Bernd Leno is on the bench for today, and Kevin as well, with Adama Traore on the bench for Fulham. Fulham playing in a horrifically looking neon yellow sort of thing with Lukic to kick us off. That is a horrendous kit. Looks like one of them highlighters. It's like yellowy green, bogus, absolutely all. But yeah, Fulham has kicked us off, and they are going to go along from this. Headed away quite comfortably by Newcastle. Not the most original idea, I suppose, in these opening for that opening routine, and it's back with Lecombe in goal, and he's gone and knocked it downfield, but it's not done very good, and Newcastle has it now, and they can come forward, but Livramento dispossessed, and Raul Jimenez will be coming on the break, trying to feed through the pass there. I think it's Harry Wilson. No, it's Raul Jimenez who's the one who's trying to chase it, and he knocks it out, and I think he's got a corner from there. He's knocked it against Shah to go out. A good bit of forward attacking play that by Raul Jimenez. Miley beaten on a bit of that pace on that side, I think. Yes, Lukic is over it, as is Harry Wilson. Lukic is another interesting name that I've not really come across. Harry Wilson was obviously on loan at one point at Derby County. It was great then, and he's developed since I was a bit of a mid-table Premier League player. I think Lukic is going to take this as a bit of a in-swinger, potentially. Oh no, they fooled everyone, and Harry Wilson has. But it's going to be kept in, to be fair. It's hoofed up. Bit of scrappiness there. Didn't get a good connection, but well, it's just skied up in the air. Who's going to win that aerial duel? That's scrappy for two Premier League teams. Newcastle getting it on the ground and are now running with a Murphy, who's passed it forward. Good chance to cut it inside, but no, that will go back to Livramento, who will be satisfied to just keep it. Maybe for a couple of... the referee was gesticulating when it was one there, so maybe because he's done a couple is why he's got a yellow card there. Because I think that tackle on its own is not yellow card worthy, but maybe it's because of a few. Sasa Lukic then on a yellow card. Yeah, Fulham's manager's not very happy with that. He is. Marco Silva is absolutely livid of a fourth official. Ramsdale with it now. Passing it out to Cher, who finally hasn't gone backwards, and someone else does instead. Cher lifting the ball forward, but it's well aerially dealt with there. Now a switch of play on for Newcastle. 1-2 there, and it's back with Ramsey, I believe. Newcastle in utilising a bit of passage of possession, which they haven't had much of this game. Cher running at Fulham now. A bold decision from the centre-back. Livramento passing it safely. In good position, I think, from Guimaraes there. He was in plenty of space. Options are plenty for Guimaraes. And he passes out to the left, back to Cher. Who goes cross-field into the middle, and that is a strong but perfectly illegal. Who will then go on their own counter-attack. Harvey Barnes on the wings. Into Livramento. Passing out to Murphy. Harvey Barnes trying to do a bit of trickery and dummy his play. Whips it across, and no one can get there, and that's going to go out for a goal kick. He had plenty of options there, Barnes, but I just don't think he can necessarily get it quite good enough. That tackle, I think, was perfectly legal by the way before for that Fulham build-up. But yeah, it was well dealt with. Kevin the Brazilian, what a name. Just Kevin. Is currently being focused on by the camera. He's had a few attempts so far this game. But yeah, it's back with the Newcastle defensive line. That's getting to earn his payday, clearly. And that's going to be a throw-in for Newcastle. Yeah, absolutely ripping wet, a lot of these players. Glad I'm not out there playing football. Livramento will be one to take this throw-in. He's got Marco Silva literally shouting just over his shoulder. And that is going to go out for another throw. It's Jacob Ramsey who it comes off this time. Poor throw-in by all things considered. Marcus instructing his team, I imagine, to keep on going forward, keep on attacking, passing forward, and accordingly, a long throw, and well, that's a Fulham player absolutely decked. I think it was Lukic, but waved on by the referee. He was not interested, and Newcastle will now come again. Great long ball across the ground there, and it's going to go out to Murphy, who can't quite get past Robinson. But yeah, that was good defensive work by Robinson. And I think Ramsey won't be one throw, but it will be a Newcastle throw. In line with a penalty area, good position here. I think it's Miley even to take it. I don't know much about him, I must profess. Coombe trying to find desired people, but it goes all the way back to him anyway. I'm sure that's exactly what I wanted him that time with Weiser bearing down on him. Can't win the aerial duel there, Wilson. Might be Jimenez actually. Trying to hook that. Livramento is a very techie player. I've noticed that from this game alone, but during his whole career he's been a bit techie, trying to do hoof rounds and stuff, and it's relatively effective. Through ball trying to find Weiser, couldn't quite get there. It was a good sliding challenge by Fulham's defence, and it's moved upwards by Letcombe. A lot of aerial ball play in parts in this game, and everybody is attacking as a team, which is always a great thing to see. Weiser can't find the back ball, and now Fulham rather can break, and that is going to be surely a yellow card. Not even a foul. Interesting decision there. I thought Jimenez was blatantly impeded. He's been kept very quiet at the moment by the Newcastle defence, who are needling him like mad. Barnes passing it through. It's going to be Guimaraes, and that is a good save. On the rebound, can Weiser get it? Oh, not quite. It's still with Newcastle, though. Livramento has it now. He's gone for a shot, and he's missed everybody and got it out. Disappointing from the Englishman, well, half Englishman, half Italian, I believe he is. But yeah, he tried for a certain one. But yeah, there was all sorts of goal mouth action there. Some great saves and blocks involved. But yeah, it was ultimately Livramento who shot come cross. I don't know. Jacob Ramsey was the one who laid him off. But yeah, it was hard to say what that was, to be honest. Shocks. I don't know what that even was. Edit that out. Newcastle will rebuild from the back. We're doing well, chipping it up forward. Weiser's probably offside more often than not at the moment, but he's still the one which is the only goal for Newcastle so far. He's clearly their target man in this one, very much the target man approach. It's all the way back with Ramsdale. Flipping heck. That just feels like a complete waste of time. If you're with it now, I believe. Livramento. Back to Share. I'm confused where Fiore's position actually is. Because I don't think he is playing as a centre-back. It's very difficult to say. Oh, duped from everyone thinking that it was going to be a long ball and then played it short there. It's a bit funny. Crossfield pass to Share. It's gone long. Weiser's got to be offside there, surely. Well, he got it out wide. He's normally the target man from these positions. So he's laid it off to Murphy. Guimaraes. Miley. passing it out, using them width options very well. He's literally dribbled across the entirety of one side of the pitch to the other there. What the purpose of that is beyond me. But anyways, headed. Oh, angled shot, blocked, cleared, will be a throw-in for Newcastle. Very interesting altogether, that manoeuvre. Miley will be the one to take this throw-in. He goes short. Miley's looked quite comfortable, to be honest. He looked very much at ease in this side. Certainly a bright future for the lad. Share telling people just to calm down a bit. But to be honest, if I was Eddie Howe, I'd be telling the opposite instructions, carry on going, push forward. Barnes lays it back off to Share. So uninspiring. Share's got an incredible ability to pick a long path, as demonstrated there. Unfortunately, nothing can be done about that. And it will go out for a throw-in right at the flag for Fulham. Literally bounced off the corner flag. It was a very interesting one in all. We played 40 minutes here. It's 1-1. Great long throw by Fulham. But Newcastle somehow tussled away with it. A cross in there, but I mean, wasn't ever going to find anyone there by Willock. Livramento has picked up possession again. All Newcastle towards the end of this half. Guimaraes. Share. Murphy passing it out the wings. Crossfield, and it's not got into the back of the net. Thankfully, it's let come because there was many players coming. I think it might have been defensively well done. Just going to check on replay here. Yeah, it was just tapped behind Murphy with the crossing, and it was tapped behind by the number 15 of Fulham. Good defensive work by Fulham there, I would say, but it will be now a corner taken by Miley. A lot of aerial threat, especially Weiser, you'd suspect. Instead, they go for a ground pass, and combining with Livramento, it's back with Miley. He's now dribbling in, but can't find his desired target. Trying for a lifted ball, and that's a interesting header by Anderson. Not Anderson. Who is it who's headed that? Anyway, it was an interesting one, and Cher will take it from. Can Cher do throw-ins? I don't know. You're giving it to someone else. I was gonna say it certainly wouldn't have been my expected choice. No, Livramento will be the one to take this instead. Probably will go short in this one. And yep, it's taken quickly by Guimaraes. Everyone's surprising everyone there, including Livramento, he gave it to. Lifted ball, well held by Letkoon. Not necessarily sure Guimaraes is having his greatest game, Bruno. But I know his game is more drawing people in and connecting them, but he's taking a lot of selfish shots. Bar dribbling into the penalty area, hooking over a cross, and that'll be deflected high, I think, inevitably for a corner. But Weiser is down, holding his quad. It's hard to tell, but he's down injured with that. He's gone for a diving header. He's landed very awkwardly. Yeah, Barnes has gone for the header. He's just gone absolutely flying over. Robinson just stood his ground, to be honest. Murphy couldn't get his shot off as number 16 for Fulham blocked. Another opportunity, Newcastle drawing towards the final half. Miley to take the corner. It's gone all the way through, and Gimel, I think, should have been doing better there to keep it down. He's been dispossessed as well, and by Jimenez, no less. 60% possession now to Newcastle, 40% of Fulham. Certainly has changed as this game has gone on. Ever since Fulham have had that equaliser, to be honest. The thing is, Wiese needs to be higher up the pitch in that position. He was trying to look forward, and then it's like realise, oh, I'm the one who's meant to be the one who's searching forward for it. But yeah, certainly a lot to digest during this first half. We'll look at all of it at half time, some of the SofaScore ratings, some of the your comments if there are any. Do let us know which way do you see this going. It's a very interesting game so far this half. Speedy break down the wing, but that's, yeah, Murphy will not be able to run to the end of that. And Robinson will be the one to take a throw in. Probably about to see how much extra time we're going to get in a couple of seconds' time. Unless there is none. There's not been overly too many injuries, to be honest. Tete with the ball now. 1 minute of added time. How often do you see 1 minute of added time nowadays? Not very often at all. Grateful to seeing it, though. We supplying pressure, but forcing Fulham to go long, and that'll just be a throw-in very deep in Newcastle's half for Newcastle. Yeah, I'm suspecting there's not going to be a goal in this final few, like half a minute. Is my suspicions. Yeah, I think my 2-1 Newcastle could be a very decent prediction, actually. Although it has been a very even game. A bit of pace there bursting through, and almost got between the two players. That could have been absolutely dead with the two players trying to close him down. And that will be the end of this opening half. 1-1 draw. A very, very decent half altogether. I must say, it's been very impressive. As a neutral watching this, it's been an absolute joy to watch at times. Wiese with the opening goal against run of play, actually, and on the 10th minute, and Lukic levelling us up on the 16th minute. Since then, it really has been mainly Newcastle with the attacking momentum. Really changed a lot at the equaliser, and Newcastle have just been looking comfortable now for about, I would suspect, about 20 minutes. Let's go through lineups and SofaScore so far. 7.1 for Aaron Ramsdale. Very highly rated player, of course. 5.9 for Livramento. I mean, it's an odd one. That, I'm not necessarily sure I agree. Maybe due to him not doing enough defensive work and him being a left back, or maybe due to his ambitious shooting. But either way, he's clearly not doing great at the moment. 6.8 for Share. I've been very much, he's somebody who, he's been involved in the build-up play, which I think you can't criticise. A lot of side-to-side movements from Share. It's not the way that they play, though. Malik Fior on a 6.9. He's been doing much more of a defensive work. He's an odd one, but Lewis Miley, very impressed so far by this lad. Won 2 out of 3 ground duels and 3 out of 4 aerial duels. So yeah, from a defensive standpoint, maybe a couple of times he could have done better, but I think by and large, not too disappointed. Well, I certainly wouldn't be too much disappointed by that performance. Just to check up on Lewis Miley, actually, looking at his maybe his Wikipedia page, because I don't think he's currently 19 years old. There you go, proper youngster. He has had a decent enough experience, to be fair, more than I've maybe given him credit for. He's made 44 Premier League appearances for Newcastle as a defensive midfielder, or as a central midfielder, or as an attacking midfielder. He's from Stanley in County Durham and is only 19 years old. Very impressive for such a young player to be, such a decent player, really. 6.5 for a Jacob Ramsey, who, he has been a bit of a midfielder's performance at the moment. Your bog standard midfield performance. He's had one key pass so far. Yeah, I think maybe one of them ones that he's been a bit more defensive than offensive than I would necessarily want at the moment. 6.5 for Guimaraes as well. Very much optimistic hit and hope strikes. And long balls. He's had one key pass so far. Mainly, most of his passes, admittedly, have been in the opposition half, which you do like to see. But yeah, he's had one shot saved and another one absolutely missed, skied off into the distance. 6.7 for Joe Willock. A lot of the passes, to be honest, have been side to side, but he has been fairly accurate with them. 6 out of 6 passes in his own half and found their own person. 11 out of 12 passes in opposition half has found their target. So he's had a high percentage in terms of finding his man. Very accurate in that sense. Just hasn't been as optimistic as maybe I'd want my midfield to be. 6.9 for Harvey Barnes. I think I've been probably very impressed with Harvey Barnes. He's taken on his players. He had a shot blocked. And yeah, he's had 25 touches of the ball. 7.3 for Wieser, the best player for Newcastle and joint best player on the pitch. Obviously, he scored that goal. He's sort of just been lurking in that sort of area. He did also miss one. He's had 2 shots. He's what you expect from your archetypal big lad. 6.8 for Jacob Murphy. Very much hugging that touchline like mad. Defensively, I think he's been very, very sound. He's had one shot blocked, but he's been involved a heck of a lot in some of the defences. He's himself has blocked a shot. He's had a clearance. He's in a very deep area. Actually, he had a recovery. You know what? From an offensive player, he's been involved with a defence. For Fulham, a 6.0 for Lecomte. I keep on forgetting this guy's even name. He's probably something like French or whatever. But yeah, he only saved once. The other one ended up being a goal. And he had a very risky punch, I recall, as well. A 6.6 for Kenny Tete. And he's been doing decently in defence, He's had 7 defensive contributions so far. 4 clearances, 1 block shot, 2 recoveries, 1 tackle out of 2 he won, 2 out of 4 ground rules he won. He's been decent enough in defence, 6.6 for Joachim Anderson. He's been playing actually more as a central or maybe a defensive midfielder, hence how high the line of defence is for Fulham. A lot of clearances from Anderson at this point in time, with all 6 of his defensive contributions being being clearances, and also have had 1 recovery. 6.6 for Cuenca. Not really mentioned him because I sort of forgot what his number was, to be honest. It does tend to happen in these watch-alongs, but he has been just keeping in everything in the box in check. 7 defensive contributions, 4 clearances, 2 interceptions, 2 recoveries. Yeah, you don't mind that in a sense. 6.9 for Robinson, had the assist, of course. A wonderful, very much hugging that touchline, both defensively and offensively. I probably gave him more credit than I should have, as I got confused between him and Kevin at one point because they're both on the same side. 7.1 for Sander Berge, clearly highly rated by SofaScore. I think defensively, maybe that's the reason why. Because I think his pass has been very defensive, but he is a defensive midfield after all. But 3 out of 4 tackles, he won with 2 aerial duels. So for me, a defensive midfielder, you don't mind that. And a 7.3 for Lukic, who I wouldn't necessarily have thought that he would have been a defensive midfielder, considering a good header he had on the ball and striking things. And been sort of a bit all over the pitch and doing everything. I've been very thoroughly impressed by him so far. Maybe he could do a bit more in the passing regard, but for being a midfielder. But I think he's popped up when needed. 6.5 for Harry Wilson, very much that attacking winger. A few failed crosses maybe, and I think he's just a bit low on confidence. But yeah, 2 key passes for Wilson, which is great to see. 2 out of the 4 crosses he's made have been accurate. He's only at a 70% accurate passes though, because he's only made 10 passes so far this game, which I think has been absolutely disappeared this game altogether. I'm not even going to bother going through some of these stats now because we've not got long left. 6.7 for Kevin. As I said, often confusing with Robinson, but has done a good enough job. 6 for Jimenez. He's been a bit bullied out of the game so far. I wonder if I can find the stats on that one for Raul Jimenez. Anyway, we've only got about 3 minutes left until we're back for the second half. So we've not got long left in this one. It's worth saying, let me have any comments. Do you like seeing me do live watch longs? Would you like to see me do more live watch longs? There's a few AFCON ones I'm potentially thinking of doing as a community tab poll, which if you want to answer that, then you can let me know if you want me to do AFCON. If you don't, yeah, we've probably got about a minute and a half until we're resuming play, especially the gambling ones. Is everyone looking forward to Christmas? It's always interesting, isn't it? The festive period of how many games come thick and fast at you. Do we actually have any more games to quickly go over the score of today? Because that's something we could probably do this time. Let's check. Today, Wednesday, the 17th. Yes, in the other EFL Cup game, it is 2-0 to Man City. If you were interested in the other EFL Cup game, which is kicking off on this, Man City, is anyone really that surprised at Man City? I'm going to be marching their way so far through this competition. But surely the adverts have to stop soon. Got to be resuming play sooner rather than later, no? But I suppose it's a minute of added extra time, so it'll be 16, won't it? But yeah, absolutely absurd that ITV have so many adverts. Oh. Shame that Cardiff couldn't beat Chelsea last night, eh? Chelsea being the first team to mark themselves into the semi-finals. Crystal Palace is playing against Arsenal next week. We'll see if I'm doing anything on the 23rd. If I'm not, I might cover that one as a live watch along as well. But there's no promises on that at all. Because It gets busy around Christmas time, as you can all imagine. The teams are out training, but yes, it's basically at the moment Man City and Chelsea have been confirmed. Whoever wins this one tonight, which is still level playing, and whoever wins Arsenal versus Palace next Tuesday. I don't know when the draw is. They did at one point have two low semi-finals. I don't know if they still do. I need to check that. I'll check that maybe if we do the other game. Yeah, fans are making their way back to their seats. As they're zooming on what I believe is Lee's stand that they're zooming in on. I've been to St James's Park 3 times before. Twice to see the Tyne and Wear ladies match and once to see the Northumberland Senior Cup final. I haven't seen the Newcastle men's team because my days that's way too expensive. But yeah, it's been a entertaining first half, and I'm fully anticipating another entertaining second half in this game as the teams make their way out of the tunnel. Don't know if there'll be any changes at halftime. I don't imagine why there would be. Neither of these two teams have been overly poor enough to need a substitute, although there are words being given to someone. So, yeah, I think Fulham are making a sub by the looks of it. Yep, the number 6, Harrison Reed, is coming on. What a name. He used to play for Leeds United, and he's coming on for Sasa Lukic. Maybe the fact that, Lukic is on a yellow, it's a bit of a kneeler. And it does change dynamics a bit, doesn't it? Having Harrison Reed, who, was an absolute baller when he was initially at Leeds United. I've not really come across him much since. But, Newcastle to kick us underway for this second interval. And off they go. A defensive pass. At least it's not going to the goalkeeper this time. And they're content to sort of build a play up. Miley with a pass back to what appeared to be Murphy, which is an interesting place for him to be that deep. But again, there's several players that I'm confusing at the moment. I think it's actually that Fior guy. Stop having the same haircut, everyone. Flipping it. Create some originality to... feels like half a Newcastle squad have the same haircut. Anyway, share with it now. They're going long and out wide. Livramento can't quite keep that in play as it comes off him for throw into Fulham. And it will be back to the goalkeeper for Fulham. Great fun. Long ball headed on, but no one's going to get that apart from Ramsdale, who's passed it to Miley. You love to see the youngster Miley. He's full of energy. Flicked on out wide. Currently, there's a bit of a backtrack on one. I'm not sure that was the most aspirational move that could be made by the winger there. It's now gone back out to Miley. Oh my days. Fior with a crossfield pass to Share, which has happened so much. That is a bad tackle against Ramsey, I believe. Reed with the first hefty tackle of this half. And he's just come on. But he's gone absolutely clattering in there against Ramsey. He may well be injured in that. That is well, I don't know what necessarily happened because Reed ran into him. I don't think it was a foul per se. It was sort of a collision. But yeah, certainly coming off worse between the two of them will be Ramsey. Start 11: Ramsdale, Miley, Sharp, Fior, and Livramento. Willock, Guimaraes, and Ramsey, with a front three of Murphy, Wiesman, Barnes. For Newcastle, it's all the same from the first half. Substitutes wise for options, they've got Ruddy, Joe Linton players, but Fulham have got Leconte in goal, back four of Tete, Anderson, Cuenca, and Robinson. Sander Berge and Harrison Reed is on as a substitute. Wilson, Smith Rowe, and Kevin, and a forward player of Raul Jimenez. They got a bench and substitute options of Bernd Leno, Kearney, Traore, Kusi, Herrera, Castagne, King, Diop, Region. What on earth is going on there? Mate, you topped that super quickly. I don't know why you're complaining that's gone off the back of weeks, because you topped that quick. He's quite well. Robinson's intercepted the pass there, though. Kevin Smith Rowe. It's going to be straight across now. Anderson passing to Tete. It's back with Anderson, I think. Infield, Sander Berge. Back to Anderson. Anderson pass now to Wilson. Wilson cross here and past everyone and out for a goal kick. Trying to find Raul Jimenez there with a looping long ball. Great run made. See where the intention was, though. There's certainly an intention there to get active and up the pitch. Ramsdale passing it out to wide. We've got Willock who will go and take the safe option, passing it back. And it will go all the way back to Ramsdale, who will then pass it to Cher. Come on, Cher, just ping it long. So it goes to Livramento on the wings. Jacob Ramsey. That's an odd position for the centre forward big man to take up. Reminds me a bit of David McGoldrick. Weiss' style of play. The big target, bold man. Especially in his heyday, he used to come and make all sorts of magic happen. And I remember how good he was at Derby. A throw in for Newcastle, roughly in line with the centre circle here. It's gone with a long one, but that's a risky one because Jimenez has got pace. And there was almost a disastrous throw in. Willock to take it here. Loads of people are pointing. There's a player down injured, that's why. And it's Murphy, who's now back up to his feet. I think there was a bit of a tussle and he's just been tumbled over. But Lino saw that, surely. He was right in line with it, and they're back again tussling, Robinson and Murphy. Robinson is the victor in that one, and it will go back to the Fulham goalkeeper, who strings it down. Newcastle has it at the moment to Guimaraes in midfield. Trying to fed some passes, but that was a poor one altogether, as was that one from by Fulham. So they all equal out, and it's back with Newcastle. Miley. Just so you know, it is 2-0 to Man City at the moment, up against Brentford. As these players pass it around their own centre circle. Guimaraes passing out wide to Livramento. Barnes going back to Cher, who's gone and pinged a long one. That could be a great ball where Livramento tries, but can't get past his defender. And Fulham will try something that goes back to Newcastle. Fulham have really lost their impetus in this second half, I would say. Livramento tapping it out wide. Barnes runs into the penalty area. Livramento tries to cross and gets a corner. There's all sorts of complaints by the Fulham supporters, but from Fulham players. I mean, I think it came back off Murphy. Great time to do your shoelaces. Bruno. But yeah, Bruno's taking this. Have your exchanging words. Not sure what about. They're all very deep here. And the referee saying, hold on. There's clearly some altercation going on in the penalty area. Yet again, Fior and his opposite number. But I think everyone's looking a bit good by Newcastle. A couple of flicks on there. In terms of now, it's 62% possession. Newcastle 38% of Fulham. Newcastle certainly grown much more into this game since that equalised by Fulham. Miley to take this throw in. It's a defensive one. It's a great cross-field ball there to try and find Barnes, who heads it to Livramento, who lays it off to Guimaraes. Back to Barnes. Passes it back to Guimaraes. Miley has it. Out to Willock. Comes in headering. I think Livramento should be able to get there. Newcastle attack on the very much stronger defensive here. They're going to try and switch play and see if that builds anything up. But at the moment, nothing quite fruitful falling for them. Crossfield in, and it's turned by for an own goal. It was Anderson, but it's going to be waved off for offside. Fulham very lucky there. Yes, Joachim Anderson had it in the back of a net. Yeah, miles and miles offside there by Murphy, to be honest. So I'm not surprised at all that was given as offside. It was the most black and white offside you will see. No controversy in it. We're back as we are at 1-1. Newcastle have managed to tangle themselves away, and they're streaking again forward here. And it's a diving save by Leckham. Could have been a very similar situation there. Newcastle certainly locking on the door in these last 5 minutes. But this also leaves opportunities as Kevin comes forward. He's off to Smith Rowe. He goes for a defensive option instead to Robinson. He's surveying his options and decides to go back again. Now goes back to Smith Rowe. Slow right down now. Kevin. He's not progressing the ball any bit forward. Now we're deciding to switch play. How riveting and exciting. This sort of stuff is absolutely ridiculous, by the way. Smith Rowe running into the penalty area, well, just outside the penalty area, and has a shot. It's straight into the arms of Ramsdale. I'm just going to check, actually, if... Has Ramsdale played with... I'm pretty certain Ramsdale has played with Smith Rowe before, right? He must have done. I would suspect so. I think we're on a replay here. Yeah, we're on a replay. Yeah, they would have played with each other at Arsenal. Yeah. Good work so far by Newcastle in this second half. But Robinson has it now for Fulham. But Newcastle defend that relatively well, getting themselves a goal kick as a result of it. The onrushing Smith Rowe. Oh no, it wasn't the onrushing Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe was one who couldn't quite lay it off to Wilson, who tried to run for the seconds actually. A lot of the promising youngsters from around about the 2019-2020 mark, sort of in this Fulham squad. Well, in this Newcastle squad, there's a couple of ones which were generational promises about 5 years ago. But yeah, it's 1-1 draw, about 2/3 of the way through this match, and Could still go either way, to be honest. Oh, great through ball there. It's Willock who has got it. Willock passing it on. It's crossed in by Murphy. Can't quite. Trying to take on his opposite number in Smith Rowe. Has to go back to Fjord. Share. Out on this far side now. But Guimaraes is going backwards. Flipping heck. It's ridiculous. Some of the decision making there has been ridiculous, mate. Harvey Barnes. Oh, can't quite find Willock on that cross. Wasn't a bad cross. Barnes is frustrated, seem to be the ones which have been given instructions. Watermaid, obviously, the difference maker in the Tyne and Weir derby as he turned it into his own net to give a 1-0 win to the Mackhams. I mean, bringing on the big boys now, aren't they? Really, Newcastle, they want to see this over and done with. Be interested to see who they bring off. I'm not too sure at the moment. I would imagine Weiser, potentially, who was just tried to be flicked on to find. Couldn't quite find the man. Guimaraes heading a couple of times. Just needs to get it down on the ground a bit more. Miley with a cross-field pass, who then goes with a forward pass and does find a person, but the second pass does not, and Fulham goes back with it. And it goes out for a throw-in. Not been impressed by Tete so far this half. I think he's been a bit poor. Barnes trying to whip it across. Headed up by Quinker. Headed back in by Newcastle, but that will go straight through to the goalkeeper, let's be honest. Was never going to be realistically found. 8 seconds now? I saw last night in the game I was watching last night in non-league. Quorn versus Elston Park in the Leicestershire Senior Cup Quarter-Finals. First time I saw that 8 seconds rule actually translate to the 8 seconds the referee can hold it, the goalkeeper can hold it rather, before the referee will give a corner. So that was an interesting one. Also a couple of foul throws given. I mean, all the niche rules that don't often get given were in that one. Fulham have it and messing around a bit in their own defensive area. Tete has it and is forced to go and give away a throw-in. Tete's like, what can you do? It's just like... Tonali is going to be coming on for... Is that Willock? Yep. Tonali's coming on for Willock. And Weiser is coming off. He seems to be going a bit more defensive by the looks of it. I know Tonali is an attacking sort of outlet, but he's not normally one's turning the goal. Oh, actually, to fair, Watermaid. Well, so yeah, Weiser is going to be making way for Watermaid, and Tonali making way for Willock. Very similar models of players, both of them. Not much tactically changing, I don't imagine. Throw-in for Newcastle. Some good opportunities. They're going to whip that in deep. Try and find Watermaid, but can't quite. And now Fulham will break. And it's Robinson with some electric pace running down the pitch. But he can't quite do anything, and that's going to go out surely for a goal kick. Certainly some pace developing on that one. There's going to be a couple of changes as well for Fulham. Adama Traore is going to be one of them. It's for 32 for 24. I'm not sure who 24 is. I don't quite recognise him. We'll find out in a minute. I think it's the end of Kevin's day. And the end of Emil Smith Rowe's day, by the looks of it. Yes, Kevin coming off for Adama Traore, and Emil Smith Rowe is coming off for Josh King. He used to play for Bournemouth back in the day. And he's, despite being called Josh King, is Norwegian. Cramping up a bit, Livramento. Would that force another change for Eddie Howe? I don't know how much that necessarily would do, to be honest. He just looks a bit cramped. Although, it's not necessarily a thing which is given when you do cramp. There's potentially get another player preparing to come on here. Obviously, don't want to risk any players getting injuries in the game like this. I believe the other Murphy's one who's coming on. Livramento is helped up. And being walked off to the side. Let's see what the cause of this was. He was up against Tete and he slipped. Maybe a bit of a muscle pull. He might have pulled his muscle, I'm not sure. If so, that's going to be a disappointing one. There wasn't any contact. So yeah, I reckon Livramento's night might be over. We've only got 15 minutes left in this one. Yep, Livramento is coming off. On comes Alex Murphy. So now I've got two Murphys on the pitch, both for Newcastle. It's always great fun when that happens. That happened in the last game we were covering as well. We were watching Shrewsbury versus Sutton. See that. I wonder how often that is the case when it happened. Anyway, we're back underway, and Newcastle have it with Barnes for a throw-in. Well, Barnes isn't going to take it for him. He's just laid it off to see the first bit for Alex Murphy for Newcastle. Automator's been far too. Fior going out to the right. Murphy. Miley trying to get this one. It's ambitious. Robinson being involved with a return back. And again, that turnover in possession. And Adama Traore has it and he will run and he's got pace. But Tonali deals with that. And he's going to also try and run the counterway. The substitutes both having some early on interaction there. And Tonali seems to have just been thrown to the floor there, but wave on, says the ref. Unfortunately, can't be quite kept in there by, I think it was Jacob Murphy, who was trying to keep that in. I can't remember if this goes to extra time or it just goes straight